Hello, we're going to review Batman and Superman Battle of the Super Sons. So this came out back in October of 2022, not that long ago, but it's basically about a movie that has Robin and Superboy team up. Now, I wasn't really excited when they announced this movie. I thought it was I saw the trailers and I thought it was just going to be a typical DC movie, animated. But actually, this movie actually really surprised me. Like, this movie's actually pretty good. It's underrated. Like, I think more people need to talk about this movie. It has a great story between Superman and Superboy. Now, I'm not like the biggest Superman fan. Like, I would consider him one of my favorite superheroes, but he's not on the level of like Batman or Spider-Man for me. I always thought it was interesting seeing Superman be a father, because, like, if he has to face a lot of challenges as a father. We even seen that explored in the Superman Lois show. And in this movie, I like how it shows, like, the daily life for a Superboy. Like, he wakes up and ready to go to school, but he's bummed that his dad can't really take him to school or spend time with him, because he doesn't know at this time of this movie, like, he doesn't know that Clark Kent is actually a Superman. It's also his birthday, as well as, not Clark's, but John Kent. And I think he's, like, ready for school or whatever, and he has to deal with the typical bullies or whatever, and he's just living the life, but he wants his life more exciting. But meanwhile, his father does return home. They clean the house or whatever. They spend a little bit of time together. But then who calls for sure? Superman has to come up and save the day, do his Superman thing. I think we even see a little bit of the Watchtower. So I like how this movie has like a structured world of DC. Like, we have the Justice League, we have Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern. There's this one scene where we see a file full of random members of like, random superheroes. Like, so that was very cool. And I think Jonathan Kent wanted his father to come to his baseball game. But because Clark's too busy being Superman, he couldn't show up, and he's very upset. He doesn't even want to talk to his father. And I love this moment where he sees he doesn't see his father at first, but he's just like, leave me alone. And then Superman's just like, I can't, I'm your father. And then he turns around and realizes, oh man, my dad's Superman. And it is because, as he was upset, he starts to develop his powers. He has heat vision. I think he takes down a windmill or a barn. It's been a bit since I've watched the movie, so I'm using my memorization. And he is just happy that Superman's Clark Kent's actually Superman. Now Superman doesn't have to hide his secret anymore. And I think even Lois was urging Superman to reveal who he is to his son, even though they live on a farm. And I think what happens next, John rides on Superman, and he shows him around the world a bit. He shows him how he flies, and then I love the scene where he gets fog stuck in his face. He's just like, oh, it smells bad. And he realizes that they're in a more different city. They are in Gotham. And this is where we finally see Batman. So Batman's in this, and I actually really like his design. Like, it's classic. Like, it reminds me of the New 52 comics, just like Superman in this. And the voice actors, too, are well known for voice acting. Like, we get Troy Baker as a Batman. And we got Travis Willingham as Superman. So, they also voiced Batman Superman in the Lego games. So, I guess that's sort of like a nice nod. I guess we're seeing these two actors team up again. Usually, if we see a Superman voice actor, it's George Newbern or Tim Daly or someone else. So they get to see the world of Gotham. Batman just fighting criminals. He fights the Penguin. and Superman swoops in, wondering if he needs help, but Batman's just like, no. I just love Troy Baker as Batman. Like, that voice. I know Batman doesn't do too much in this movie, but he's still fun. And I think they go to the Batcave. And that's where John Kent meets Damian. So we don't see Nightwing or Tim Drake in this movie at all. But it's still nice to see Robin. And he's played by Jack Griffo. So if you don't know who that is the guy from the Thundermans TV show. I can't believe I'm talking about that show on my channel. But it was a Nickelodeon sitcom. I'm honestly surprised since he was well known for being in the Thundermans. And now he's playing Robin. Honestly, I think Jack Griffo does a good job as Robin. Like, he sounds like Damian Wayne. He'd say things that Damian Wayne would say. And there's also this I'm going to randomly say it. There's this random subplot where Damian wants to join the Teen Titans. But because he's too aggressive and maybe a little unstable, that the Teen Titans are just like, we don't want you. We even see Wonder Girl. I was honestly surprised to see her in this movie since we don't really see Wonder Girl. So we probably know that Wonder Woman's in this movie for sure. And I think what happens later in this movie, after John and Damian start to try to bond, but they just don't really relate to each other. I think Damian throws John off the roof of the Batcave, and then Superman has to catch him. But Damian only did it just so he can develop his powers. I think Batman even scolds Damian a bit. But as of later, meanwhile, our heroes are at the Watchtower are taken over by a mysterious creature, that being Starro. So we've seen Starro before in movies, in DC projects like Batman Beyond. We also saw him in the Suicide Squad, the Batman Brave and the Bold. And Starro can basically just mind control you if he touches your face. I think what happens is Batman and Superman investigate at the Watchtower since they got a call from Green Arrow what happened. That something bad happened at the Watchtower, but we get a flash that suggests they've been taken over by the Starros, and it's revealed later in the movie that they are. And it's basically forcing Damian and Superboy to team up. And by the way, Superboy has his own costume that looks very neat. He did snoop. He was supposed to get a birthday present of the Superman costume of his own, but he snooped it anyway, and Lois Lane told him not to. And I think she gets mind control too, because there's a bunch of stars that are just affecting a ton of people, and all that's left is just Damian and Superboy. And they have to try their best. And they have this fight scene where Damian and Superboy have to fight their own dads. Like, it's really crazy. Like, how can they take them down? They also go to school where Damian finds Superboy and there's this one crazy scene where Lois Lane is controlled, and then she's like creepily smiling, and she runs over like fastly, like a horror movie. And then I think Damian and Superboy escape through the Batwing, and then they go to the Watchtower and they fight Superman and Batman. Like, it's intense, like I said. I think they were almost gonna lose, but then they decide to switch. Superboy fights Batman and Damian fights Superman. Honestly, I didn't know how this was gonna go, since Superman is like one of the most powerful characters, and Damian, all he's got is a sword and martial arts. But I think they do take them down, and I think they reawaken them for their superpowers. They use the laser beams to release all the Justice League and some of the Teen Titan members. Like I said, they even showed the list of people that they're going after. So we get, like I said, we get more of a who's in this DC world in this spectacular animation, by the way. And I think they do take down the Watchtower, and I think it crash lands. But Batman and Superman do try to save their sons. And they do, and I think later they fight a giant Starro. And I also think Lois Lane tries to confront Lex Luthor, who's somehow the president, into stopping this invasion. But I don't know, nothing really came to be. But I think she does take down Lex. As well as he's revealed he's kind of just being evil, of course, because he's Lex Luthor. And I think Superman and Batman and Damian and Superboy, I think they do take down the giant Starro. They stop the invasion. And I think the movie ends with Damian being reconsidered for the Teen Titans. And this is honestly one of the best scenes I've seen. Bruce Wayne spends all his time being Batman. But he decides to take it out of his time and actually go to John's baseball game. Like, we never thought Bruce Wayne would ever do something like that, since he's too busy being Batman. But so that was a nice, refreshing thing to see in the movie. And I think John and Damian are basically friends. And there's also this running gag where Damian uses his special ninja move on Jonathan Kent's bully, since Jonathan does get bullied. And Damien's just not surprised that he deals with a bully, and he uses his super move and he freezes his body. And I just love it. The bully gets karma, basically. And so that's Super Sons, a really fun animated movie. I think you should all check it out if you're a fan of Robin and Superboy, or Batman and Superman in general. Honestly, was the Batman and Superman title even relevant, since it's not really about them, it's about their sons. But yeah, this movie has a nice cast. The animation's really good, by the way. And I don't really think I had any issues. I felt it could have been done differently with the villain, like Starro. Like, I don't know, I'm not really a big fan of Starro. That's just me, basically. But I give this movie, why not an 8 out of 10? It's really good. I think that's it for DC animated movies, though, because we didn't get too much. We got Super Pets, which is a theatrical release movie. Do you want me to talk about Super Pets? Maybe I will. But I saw it in 2023 a while ago. But I think I've been rambling on a little too much. But anyway, I give this movie a 8, like I said. I don't know what the next movie is. I think it's Doctor Strange. I can't wait to talk about that. So, with that said, thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.